Hey, it's Don Skaggs again with Empowered Inventing, the one place where we try to help you help other people by taking your innovation, sound wisdom, and the right opportunity to turn them into real things like products and businesses. Now today, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to pick the right people to work with your invention, startup, or business. Because people are very, very important. And getting the right people on the bus can be the thing that makes or breaks your startup, your business, or even your invention. Even for the independent inventor, you're going to need to be able to work with people. Even if they're not hires, maybe they're people that you're contracting with, maybe they're collaborators, other companies you're doing sort of collaborative partnerships with, I like to call them, or maybe they're actually partners. These are people you're going to be working with. No successful inventor, no successful entrepreneur ever works in their own bubble. You have to be connected to people. I've said this, if you've been watching any of the videos or listening to me for any amount of time, you know you've probably heard me say this 1,000 times. People are important. And if you get the right people on your team and you treat them well, you can go miles further with a lot less rough road than you ever could if you're not doing the right things in the right way. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about how to do that. Number one, and this sounds really obvious, but you'd be amazed at the businesses and inventors and entrepreneurs that I'll see that'll fall into this, and that's don't partner with or don't hire crazy. There are crazy people out there, and you do not want to connect with them. You do not want to partner with them. Now, maybe you do have people that you work with, and some days you just feel like they're crazy. And you know, if they're genuinely good people and they do good things, and there's not a lot of dysfunction in there, then you know you're probably all right. Everybody's got a few of those days, but I'm talking about people who are just they're back guano crazy. They are just out there. And how do you prevent that? You have to get to know the people that you're going to be working with. If they have a pulse, and you say, all right, great, I need somebody, let me get you right here, right now. That's not good. That's not good at all. So get to know them. This is going to take some time. You're going to have to, would you have married somebody after the first date? It's the same thing. Some of these people, you get into pretty deep relationships, especially like business partnerships. It's like being married to them, only maybe sometimes it's even worse. So get referrals from people that you know. It's good to know people who may have known these people for a longer period of time. That way, what you're doing is you're vetting them. I've heard one story of one person that had a business, and he would it required for his new hires, for his employees, is he would take them to dinner and have their wife go with them, wife or husband, have their spouse. So he would have dinner with them and their spouse just to see how they interacted, just to kind of see if he was crazy or if he was married to crazy. I think that's how he termed it one time. So, and I don't know if I really would recommend that or not, but what I'm saying is the gist of it's good, and that's to get to know these people before you get in very deep with them. So take your time. Don't hire people just because they have a pulse and just because you are in a panic and need to fill a spot right away. Or you need a collaborator right away, or you need a contract labor or contract partner or contract somebody to do or make something for you right away. Know who they are. Vet them a little bit. So, now another thing, family and friends, sometimes they're not good choices. Now, sometimes family businesses can work and it can be great. I've seen it. It can really be good. But you just have to be aware of all the challenges that you have when you have family and friends involved in a business. And I've seen it go well, and I've seen it go really bad and crash and burn. So you have to be very careful, and I think the important piece to this is to be cognizant of what you're coming up against when you do that. Because, you know, sometimes it can be great. Have family, friends. If it's a family business, you can have a family legacy, and it moves on from father to son, or mother to daughter, or father to daughter, or, you know, whatever combination, you know, pick your own. But sometimes family and friends cannot be good choices because your judgment, and then as long as you're aware of this is good, but if you're not aware of this is where it'll go bad. Sometimes your judgment will be swayed by the fact of your existing relationship. And I'm not just talking about family, I'm talking about friends as well. Maybe you've got a lifelong friend or somebody you've known for a decade, and you feel like you really know them. Well, guess what? You've got this friend's relationship, this close relationship with them, and it changes things. And just like with a family member, it changes things once you go into business together, once you're doing business with them. Idiosyncrasies that you have, those kind of odd things that at family get-togethers, those odd little things that might just bother you for about 10 seconds, guess what? They become magnified 10,000 times when you're working with them in a closed space in a business. It happens. And it's not just you. It's not just isolated to you. It's everyone that has that faces that challenge. Whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend. You know, if it's a family member and, you know, you've got money involved and you've got people involved and you've got work involved, the turkey a lot of times just won't taste the same at Thanksgiving. So just remember those challenges. It just changes things. Make sure your personalities are going to mesh. Now, I'm not just talking about friends and family. I'm kind of off to the next thing here. Make sure when you're bringing someone into your team, bringing someone in as a collaborator, a partner, any of these things that I mentioned before, make sure your personalities are going to mesh. If you have two personalities and they're just going to be like this, guess what? The more you're doing business together, the more you're in that confined space together, the more this is going to happen. So be sure your personalities are going to mesh, and that kind of goes back to the just taking your time, getting to know people. Now, if you're a partner, especially if you're a partner, but this is true really in all the cases, but make sure that you're on the same page. You know, sometimes it's good just to have things written out. Sometimes it's saying, okay, this is how we're going to operate. You know, you've heard of operational agreements, and don't get an attorney and do one of these big things that nobody can read or understand. I mean, just write out simple things. Okay, I'm going to be in charge of this, but I'm going to have the responsibilities for this. And by the way, when you have a partnership, when you have people working, number one, they have a certain authority that you give them, but counter that, they have to have responsibilities, and that has to balance. So put it in writing. Lay out what their key performance areas, so of everybody, what they're going to be involved with. This is what I'm in charge of, and this is what I'm responsible for. Because when you're in charge of something, guess what? You need to be responsible for it. That's very, very important, by the way, in any part of a business. Another thing, lastly, communicate. Lack of communications can kill a project, a business, faster than anything. So be very, very deliberate about when and how that you do this. Sit down once a week. Okay, where are we at? Where are we going? What have we done? And how are we going to get there? And everybody gets to input that. So be sure and communicate. When there's a problem, you don't just push it under the rug and you don't just hide it. No, no, I don't want to tell this to him. He might blow up. I want to tell this to him. He might, she might get upset. No, sometimes you just have to get your hands dirty and get out there and face the music and say, okay, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about that. That's the hard thing that you have to do when you have a business. But it's why you have a business, is because the rewards of doing it the right way can be phenomenal. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'm Don Skaggs. This is Empowered Inventing TV. Please be sure and like, subscribe, help us to build our tribe. If you're looking for more content, check out empoweredinventing.com, and I will look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, maybe one of our online classes, or on the next video.